What are you doing, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to take a little bit of time today to talk about a beloved Italian dessert that kind of has fallen out of favor a little bit. You almost never see it in its pure form anymore, and you almost always see it kind of modified. And I think that's kind of unfortunate. I think there's a lot that has to do with that. And that dessert is tiramisu. Now, recently you probably saw me tasting tiramisu Oreo, and that kind of is part of what prompted me to make this video and the follow-up video that I'm going to make. So stick around to the end of this because I'm going to give you a way to get a printable version of my method of making tiramisu. So stick around to the end to see how to do that. And let's talk about the history of tiramisu, or at least my history with it. Tiramisu means pick me up in Italian. That's the literal definition of it. And inside of that definition, there's an implication that it's something light, right? So it's not supposed to be like this heavy, creamy cake that it's turned into. It was always supposed to be something kind of light and, you know, something to have at the end of a meal after eating something kind of heavy. It's supposed to pick you up. It's got, you know, your jolt of caffeine in there, a little bit of liqueur. Let's talk about the build of a tiramisu. So tiramisu is a layered dessert that consists of Italian ladyfinger cookies that are dipped in a mixture of strong coffee and a liqueur, and then they're kind of layered with a cream that's made with a mascarpone base. That cream is subject to quite a lot of controversy. It originally was eggs whipped with mascarpone cheese in a very specific way, and that's kind of the way I make it. I make it in the traditional method. Because of factors such as the fear of contaminated eggs with salmonella and stuff, you almost never find it in that form. Sometimes it'll be like a zabaione where they'll do it over a double boiler, you know, but you almost never see it kind of as whipped egg whites mixed with a mascarpone and egg yolk cream. And that's kind of unfortunate because when it's made that way, it's actually a beautiful dessert. Because of things like Food Network and, you know, all these kind of publications that have adapted different ways of making the same kind of thing, we now have these tiramisu hybrid desserts that, while good, are at what point do you actually still consider it tiramisu? How many things have been altered to change kind of the makeup to, you know, in the DNA? Is it really tiramisu at the end of the day? And I'm going to show you a recipe that I've tried from the Munchies cookbook that looked very good, and I wanted to try it just to see how well it resembled tiramisu. So it kind of goes back for me to the early 90s.
Today we got a great show in store for you. If you like game tips, we're here, man. If you like magic shows, we're here. And if we like Savoiardi, we're here. If you like mozzarella, we're also here. So
it was kind of a dessert that was very popular in Italian restaurants, and we ate in Italian restaurants quite a lot. And even American restaurants at the time were offering tiramisu desserts. My mom started making tiramisu. My dad owned an Italian import shop, so he had access to all the imported ladyfingers and mascarpone cheese. And that really are the only two ingredients that you need that are not available like in a supermarket. The other ingredients are coffee, liqueur, eggs, and that stuff you can get anywhere. If you want to do cream, you do cream. As I started to get older, I kind of developed my own skills making tiramisu, and actually in my dad's store, it was a dessert that we offered. So I was the one once or twice a week making tiramisu. And, you know, we had our own little restaurant tricks to kind of, you know, extend it out and stuff like that. But I kind of got to appreciate the building of the dish. And while I don't really consider myself an expert in tiramisu, I think that's kind of a ridiculous thing to aspire to be. I at least think I'm a little bit of an authority, and all the experience that I've had kind of sets me up for that. You can deviate from a typical tiramisu dessert. One of the things that I've done that was actually really successful is I made it with Twinkies instead of ladyfinger cookies. Now, you might think that's absolutely ridiculous, and it is, but what is a Twinkie other than a giant ladyfinger with disgusting cream inside of it that everybody loves? That was a really good modification, and that's basically the most that I've done to alter kind of what my tiramisu is, but I could see putting any kind of cookies in there. That's why trying out this Munchies Nutella Bourbon Tiramisu seems appealing to me, because it's built with Nilla wafers instead of ladyfingers. Because at the end of the day, ladyfingers are kind of a very neutral cookie, and they don't really bring much to the table except for a medium to soak up the coffee. And to me, any kind of like vanilla, cake or cookie could do the same thing. Pound cake can even do the same thing. And that's kind of where I think a lot of the liberties that get taken with tiramisu come from, because you also have like a British trifle that's either a sponge cake or some kind of cookies in that regard that get layered with puddings and things like that. And that all kind of ties together to this Munchies recipe that I'm making. I just got finished prepping this Nutella and Bourbon Tiramisu with one minor adjustment. I actually found this Jameson cold brew whiskey infused with cold brew coffee, and I used my own cold brew as the coffee base to dunk the Nilla wafers in. And this is a recipe where I think there's enough deviations from classic tiramisu so that this is no longer tiramisu, but it still resembles the original. There's mascarpone, there's kind of eggs in it, and I also made a tester so that Cassie and I could try it now just to make sure it's okay before we feed it to anybody. Let's see how this tiramisu is. So we got our little trifle here. It's like a little baby tiramisu. So this recipe differs quite a bit from what I would consider tiramisu. Tiramisu is basically eggs and mascarpone cheese whipped together, as far as I'm concerned, with ladyfingers dipped in a coffee and a liqueur. This is more of a whipped cream blended with mascarpone, where you use it to make a mousse with Nutella, and then the cookies are Nilla wafers, and instead of using like amaretto or sambuca or rum, sometimes they used bourbon, and in my case I used a Jameson cold brew whiskey infusion thing. So let's dig in, see how it tastes. The layers are made up with cookies, Nutella mousse, mascarpone cream, cookies, Nutella mousse, mascarpone cream, and it's dusted with cocoa powder. So let's see. You can definitely taste the Nutella. It's definitely more of a pudding, I would consider, than tiramisu. Tiramisu has more of a stronger coffee flavor, and this is more Nutella and cream forward, but it's pretty good. It's actually really good. It's trifle. There was a bit of unfortunateness to the tiramisu Oreos, because I didn't mention earlier that there's usually cocoa on the top layer of tiramisu. Now, cocoa to me is not the dominant flavor in tiramisu, so it kind of upset me that Oreo would make the cookies chocolate for the tiramisu Oreos when they have the golden Oreo. That probably would have gotten them closer to what they were trying to simulate. And that was kind of the point of that video, is like, now I want tiramisu even more than I wanted before. So the take-home messages, between that and this Munchies recipe, I'm really kind of craving the original, and we're gonna go back, and in the next video, we're gonna make the original. So a couple things I need you to do. Hit like if you want to see that video of me making tiramisu. That's going to help get these videos out into the algorithm and make them popular so that more people get to see them. Comment below with your favorite tiramisu experiences. Let's start a dialogue on, where can you get a good tiramisu? Did you have one at Olive Garden that was amazing? Did you have one at Olive Garden that totally sucked? I want to hear about your stories with it. So this is all about you guys. And if you do want to see that, be sure to be subscribed to the channel and turn that post notification bell on when you subscribe, because that's going to let you know when the video is ready, just in case you don't see it on social media or you forget. That way you'll be reminded no matter what. And I promised that I'd give you a way to get my printed version of my tiramisu recipe, and I have that all ready to go. What I need you to do is follow me on Instagram. My handle is DerryX on Instagram. Follow me there and send me a direct message, and I'll shoot that over to you right away. Maybe if you want, you can wait for the video, and then you'll have the printed version, and you can access both at the same time to kind of see, here's me doing it physically, and then you can go along with the printed version. So definitely shoot me a DM and I'll send that over to you right away. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really look forward to bringing you the next video. I can't wait for you guys to see that. Have an amazing day.